Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about Chief Manuelito. And first, as the title says, he's a chief, specifically the chief of the Navajos. So, if we want to get to know about Chief Manuelito, we better first start with who are the Navajos. Okay, so who are the Navajos? The Navajo Nation is the largest tribe in the US and also has the largest reservation land as well. The Navajos call themselves Diné, which just means the people, and the creation of Navajos took place within four secret mountains, and many of them wish never to leave their homeland that had been bordered by the secret mountains. They were They were great hunters with special distinctive sheep, which you can see on the right top corner on here. It's called churro sheep, and they also are excellent weavers, and they believe sheep is important to them because it means life, and the sheep will care for them. Okay, so back to our main topic, Manolito. Chief Manuelito was born in 1818 in Bears Ears, Utah, and he was known for being the leader of the Diné people before, during, and after the Long Walk period. Also, he is one that advocates Western education for his people. Okay, so uh, let's move to the Long Walk period. And it all started in the 1840s when the Anglos has arrived. And in that period of times, the Americans they believe in manifest destiny, which just tells the people to settle in the West. President Polk was in charge at that time, and he also wanted to expand the U.S. territory, coast to coast. Also, in this period of time, the West is part of the Mexico, which also is confirmed by the Navajo by that time. So, in 1846, General Kearny just got the orders from the president that he need to take Mexican territories, and it just ended up to a treaty that now the U.S. is in control of the West, and now the Navajo homeland, which is just belong to the U.S. However, the Navajo people were not considered as the citizen of the U.S. Now it is the time to remove the Navajo from their own land because General Carleton thinks that their homeland is rich in gold, and he also recruited the famous mountain man Kit Carson to assist him in order to accomplish this great evil plan. And the place that the Navajo moving in is called Bosque Redondo, which they believe this place is also good for the Navajos, which it really did not end up well for them. I mean, for the Navajos. And now it's about time to taking actions. But before that, Kit Carson also found conscience in himself, which he wanted to resign this miserable position. And of course, General Carleton refused, and he ordered all the Navajos needed to be surrendered by July 20th, 1863. And after that, it's all going to be serious. Carleton started the war in the summer and fall of 1863. That they started to taking down crops, slaughtering livestock, and destroying homes of the Navajos. And if the Navajo has nothing left, they will be moved to the reservation land. And remember, sheep means life for the Navajos, and now they are terrifying. And this strategy has really worked because a bunch of Navajos are starving and got no clothes, no shelter, and now the Americans offer them shelters and livestock if they move to the reservation, and they did. And this is when the long walk began. About 53 journeys beginning in August 1863, and there were about 20 to 2400 groups. Most of them were abused when they were gathered. Blistered feet was also a common thing, and some of them had to be left behind. And what's interesting about it is, according to General Carleton, most of Indians were treated wellly, and they were also well cared. Women and children had tents to sleep in, but the truth is, some of the pretty girls were captured and raped. But did all the Navajos have to choose the surrender way? The answer is obviously no. Chief Manuelito was fear of the Navajos that been resisted for a while. He has never been captured, and hiding in the bear's ears, the place he was born, and knew the best. However, however, things did not go well for long. Few conflicts with the youth that left him only few warriors with him, and many of them were wounded, which he finally surrendered and moved to the reservation land. So now, let's move into the time in the reservation land. There were over 8,500 Navajos finally made to the reservation land in the end of the December 1864. Disease spread through the Bosque Redondo. Navajos did not get used to the food that been offered, and they didn't know how to prepare the white food. Diarrhea and dysentery became a common disease, and the Navajos died from it. The river was also alkaline and is barely drinkable. American soldiers also taking young Navajos women out of the camp to their quarters, then use them as sex slaves. Trees were also a limited resource, and in the end, the Navajos would use their hoegans, which is their home, like their door panels, as a firewood, then digging holes to sleep in, with canvas covered on the top. Crops were also dying due to the dry land. The Navajos cannot really support themselves in the Bosque Redondo. The Navajos feel treated poorly, and brutality from the soldiers was another common thing back then in the Bosque Redondo. They will punish the people if they did not do what they've been told to do. For example, just lock people up to build their sovereignty in this place. It is more likely a concentration camp, and now the Navajos just wanted to back to their homeland. And it was until 1867 things has started to change. Peace Commission was established, led by General Sherman and Colonel Tappan. Sherman found terrible conditions, so that they meet with the Navajo leaders, and Chief Manuelito was one of them. which ended up to Treaty of 1868 that the Navajos can finally go back to their own land. The treaty was not only just about being able to go back their own land, it is also about education. Now Navajos would allow their children to go to American schools and to be assimilated. Chief Manuelito was also agree with it, and he has been the first few of to show an example by, by sending his own sons to the Indian Industrial School later on. But unfortunately, both of his sons fell sick, and one died at school, the other one died soon after the returning. Then Chief Manuelito demanded all of the children needed to come back from the school. But what's important is, according from the recall of Manuelito's son, that Manuelito was not regretted. He says, life goes on, and it always needs somebody to step out the first step. As a chief, he totally qualified for this position. He has done everything for his people, but as a father, put his own children at a risk of exposing bunch of diseases. Is this the right thing to do? Or is it for the bigger picture? I'm not sure about it.